This is Urtica dioica, stinging nettle. Now it's going to flower and it will soon produce tassels of seeds. And this is a bigger patch of it in and amongst other things. So those tall spikes you see that look a lot like this first one that I showed you are larger spikes of it. And while I am trying to reduce the background noise of cars going by due to the location, I also respect that it grows in ditches on roadsides where it's wet, and that it can often be found in such places that are high traffic and so on. So this is a plant that's been a little bit chewed up. But I'm going to just sit and focus on all of the information that I've gathered on this and read some of it off and share what I know. I have a long history with this plant, both positive and negative. There are several of them here. I'm just going to focus on that, and we'll get in close when needed. The Urtica dioica is commonly known as stinging nettle, and it's a perennial. It was originally from Europe, and it has been distributed since eons ago to worldwide, and it has 6 different subspecies, 5 of which have stinging trichomes or spicules or plant hairs, which when contacted with the skin have tiny needles which inject a histamine and other chemicals, and those chemicals are primarily biochemicals of histamine, serotonin, and acetylcholine, among others, causing an itching or a burning, painful sensation, and welts and raised so forth. The best thing to deal with those is to not get the sting in the first place, to protect yourself from them, or pulling from the base of the plant upward, which goes, it makes the stings lay down flat. Most often one gets stung by brushing downward or not knowing as you walk through the patches of the plant, not even knowing what happened to you. I remember walking through a patch and being covered with hives I was wearing shorts, and it was when I was very young. I had no idea what I was walking through until I came back with stings all over, and I thought something had stung me. So I ran away from it, not knowing that, and then a swim in cold water changed that quite a bit. Another thing, it often grows next to dock, Rumex obtusifolius, which counteracts the sting, or antihistamines, using those. It also wears off after either a few minutes or several days, depending on your histamine reaction in general. The young leaves and shoots, I don't know if there are any here. Here's a very young one, actually. I've cut all of this down recently, so these are under 6 inches tall. Also, when the plant comes up really early, I would say one of the first 8 to 10 plants that come up in New England. When they're 6 inches or shorter, those stems are a little bit tough, but the leaves and tops cut and then steamed as spinach or put in soups or whatnot, very good. They're high in several minerals and nutrients. They are 25% protein by dry weight in other nutrients. They're great for lactation, for rheumatoid arthritis, and for other arthritis, because they tend to draw out the toxins in their live form. and also in there as a vegetable. Some people will use them in salads when they're really young, just the leaves, because they don't have the stingers on them, or by wilting them for a little bit or steaming them or blanching them, you can destroy the sting. They are the larval food for many types of butterflies, which I'm not going to detail. They grow in primarily wetter environments in shady areas, and will grow anywhere from 3 to 7 feet tall. When they're this tall, I tend to cut down the plant if I have a patch of them and use those for dried herb, drying them out, using them for tea, which I detail in another video. But yeah, when they've gotten this big, they're like beyond. So I'm at ground level looking at these little plants. These are good eating. Those are more for tea, or they've gone beyond. Once the plant is fairly big and tough, it produces cystoliths, which are tiny calcium deposits, calcium carbonate, which do not break down in cooking, but those can be broken down using various forms of acid or acids, acid fermentation, and other things, so used in pickling and so forth. The fibers have been used in textiles in several countries. The stem is quite tough and is it's just got a lovely amount of things that it can be used for, things that I didn't know, which I probably sound like I'm reading, but it's got a lot going for it. And again, it's really challenging to work with once it gets big, because one, it breaks off its root system really easily and grows back very well, and two, it's hard to interact with unless you're very well protected or know how to pull it out without getting stung. And again, pulling it from, if I can grab this one here, from the base and pulling upwards. So as you can see, I've got a hold of it. It is not stinging me, and I'm pulling upward. But again, protecting oneself from it. Looking at my fingers, I have a little bit of a sting on the back of my hand just to see if I could raise welts, and I am not having that reaction to it. But I don't want to force anything there. I'd rather not be stung by it, because I don't want that right now. Only consume the young plants and leaves, because once it flowers or is taller, it has compounds that don't break down as easily, and the acids are the primary thing that'll break down the calcium deposits. There are several different ways of recognizing it. One is by getting stung by it, and you feel it almost immediately, because it feels like you've been stung by something. But if there is nothing buzzing around you, it's likely mosquito here. It is likely stinging nettle. There aren't too many things in the Northeast that have that effect right away, except maybe sawgrass, in which case, it doesn't grow in the same place as sawgrass. It's very recognizable, as is, and again, the taller plants they have this nice serrated edge to them. Let's see if I can find a few that are, yes, and of course, with all the water on it, it's a little hard to see in detail, but it has been used for pesticides, as an extract, as an herbicide, fungicide, beneficial. Insects get all over it, including it is the primary host plant for the red admiral caterpillar. It has low nitrogen itself, but it's a nitrogen soil builder. As a liquid fertilizer, it is low in phosphate, but it's very high in magnesium, sulfur, and iron. And it's a good indicator of soil quality because it grows really well in high phosphorus soil. Well, that would be a good indicator. and because it loves phosphorus. If it's not doing well in the soil, you have a low phosphorus soil. It can transplant very easily, so if you have some in somewhere around and you want to test your soil, see how it grows in the soil, then that would be another way of testing your soil organically. How I've used it over time, I would say that from a young age, having gotten stung by it and witnessing my mentor in landscaping, whom I had for many, many years, watching her take branches of it and hit her back with it. She had arthritis and she swore by it. There's that. Having used it myself as a spinach substitute and greens, it is wonderful. It has a really nice flavor in and of itself, which I find hard to describe. It's a lot like a regular spinach. It's got a hearty flavor of spinach to it, and I would say that it does really well once those from young to mid-age, before it sends out the little spikes and whatnot. This one is too big, obviously, but even taking the leaves of a larger plant, but particularly getting the smaller ones like these down here, which are under 6 inches, the entire plant, or primarily the leaves, and steaming them, or blanching them, or even boiling them to get rid of the sting. Really wonderful in all kinds of things. I know they're used in several countries to help regulate and fortify the starch compounds in bread making and in several different pastries and whatnot. Primarily, what is it? Not sweet, but savory pastries. Other than all of that, it's something that grows all over the place, and you likely have it, if not in your yard, very close by. It's easy to find. I'm happy to share that with you. And if you've found this useful and found this helpful to you in any way, I encourage you to subscribe to my other videos and to look for more information on it online. There's a wealth of information on stinging nettle. And it's a really wonderful plant, even if it is as challenging and painful to get near it as it is. Thank you for watching, and stay curious.